Yep.
It's the craziest, probably the funnest time of the year in high school basketball. These two programs have been the cream of the crop in the girls' city league here in Boston.
A couple of things to play here. Now we got two interesting teams.
Soars again for the two-handed flush. Colby Upchurch out on the break. She gets the basket. There's the foul. Going for another three.
Over here. Once he gets a step in the lane, he can make it all the way to the hoop.
The Tech Boston Bears are the 2018 Boston City champions. Hello, everybody. Welcome to New Mission High School in Hyde Park as we bring you a matchup in the girls BPS Boston Basketball League, as tonight the O'Brien Tigers are paying a visit to the New Mission Titans. Hello, everybody. I'm Pat Flaherty. Tonight I'm joined by my partner, Seth Orensky. And Seth, when you look at the Boston City League on the girls' side of the basketball, there's really four teams in the city that have perennially been the best teams in the city, that have made it to the city championship, that have made the furthest run in the state tournament, and these are two of those four teams that we're going to see here tonight.
And these are the two teams who met last year in the semifinals and then again in the state playoffs. Both times big wins for this New Mission side. O'Brien, a little bit confident in their strong start to the season at 5-1, but just 1-1 in city play, trying to earn a big second win against the slightly undermanned New Mission side. It'll be interesting. They're a very young squad, but they have a couple players who remember those bitter losses to end their season.
No question. We'll see if there's sort of a revenge factor for this O'Brien team as they come in here tonight. For O'Brien, one of the leaders of this team, despite all the youth, is one of their seniors that really is the only senior that gets any playing time. That's Grace Burns.
Grace Burns has already had a really successful career. A two-time Boston City League All-Star. She's their best ball handler. She's the unquestioned team leader. When you talk about the only senior who sees time, plus at the point guard spot, she's so valuable for this team. She's going to have to take care of the ball extremely well today. She's got a very nice shot from the mid-range game, a little bit old school for especially the high school level of these days.
No question. On the other side, the other point guard for New Mission, Jashari Green. She's one of their best players. She's our spotlight player tonight. She can do a lot of different things out on the floor from the point guard position.
Well, she's the new star player at New Mission. Tanasia Drayton graduating 2 years ago. She was the last of the old school. Well, Jashari Green's a pretty good new school player. 28 points the other night in a win over Tech Boston. She's been phenomenal for this year's team, especially with a couple of injuries. And she's not only a really good shooter, she's also a very good ball handler and passer. Looks to get her team involved, and that's a big reason why they've had a lot of their success, because she's not just looking for her own shot. She's trying to get every single player involved to make it a really difficult 5-on-5 game for the opposition.
No question. Before we get going here tonight at New Mission, let's get a sideline report from our sideline reporter, Noah Riley. But before we do that, they're just about set to go here on center court here at New Mission High. So the Titans hosting the O'Brien Tigers. And we're just about set to go here. Grace Burns, the point guard, doing the jumping duties for the Lady Tigers.
Well, that just shows you that she's an athlete. It also says that it's a very small O'Brien team. You see it. DJ Russo's the center. The other four are all guards. Grace Burns, Christina Pham, the niece of Vin Bowie, the head coach for New Mission, along with Guerrero and Gainey.
And for New Mission, you got Green and Gonzalez. And here we go as O'Brien gets the opening tap. Three-pointer on the way and off the backboard for the Lady Tigers. Hitting that one, number 23, Lena Guerrero, the freshman.
That's a great start for O'Brien, especially on the road against the team that gave them some problems last year. Get that little bit of confidence, especially from one of their youngest players.
Back down the other end, Jashari Green off the window, and you see what kind of player she is. She loves to go to the basket.
Yeah, that's tough. Grace Burns needs to step over a little bit earlier, but she's not much of a shot blocker. She's just about 5'5", 5'6", so that's going to be difficult. Someone's going to have to keep Green from getting to the paint.
Green again scoop shot for her that time, and she's so long with those arms, she can usually get any type of shot off when she gets inside the paint.
Yeah, that's what's so difficult these days. You have so many players, even at the NBA level, who might be an inch or two small in the opposition, but they use their length to their advantage. And Green, no one's been able to get in front of her and keep her from penetrating.
Another steal that time for New Mission. Gonzalez now to Drayton, but Gonzalez is going to be whistled for a double dribble.
Yeah, Gainey was trying to do too much on that last possession. And for New Mission, you need to get the ball in the hands of Jashari Green immediately. Green was wide open because there were two New Mission players, just one O'Brien defender there. Get the ball to your best player's hands.
Runner that time from Gainey. She banks it off the window. So O'Brien now on top 5-4 here in the early goings of the first quarter.
Nice little finish, and I like the fact that she used the glass to help her out there.
Short jumper from Gonzalez. And back comes O'Brien. Quick outlet pass to Gainey. We can't secure the layup. That's knocked out of bounds. And that'll go back to the Lady Titans.
Great look, though, by Lena Guerrera, sensing that her teammate had already leaked out, and that was a perfect pass, just a little bit too strong there from Ariana Gainey.
And we got a 5-second violation on New Mission. Drayton, a junior with a lot of experience, but didn't get the ball in time, so that'll turn the ball over to O'Brien.
Well, one of the things Trudy Fisher said about her team before today's game is that they're a pleasure to coach. You see the bench getting up loud, celebrating every single turnover forced, and that was just a good team play, not allowing anyone to slip open.
Grace Burns, no good on the mid-range jumper, and the rebound comes down to Drayton.
How can you slow down Jashari Green in the outlet?
Three-pointer on the way and good for New Mission. Knocking that one down is Jonalise Flores, a sophomore for the Lady Titans.
That was a great look. Green electing to give it off to one of her teammates rather than take it all the way, and Flores makes it pay.
Runner well short. Gainey pulls down the loose ball.
A little bit of miscommunication. She had a teammate who was fighting her for the rebound.
Gainey there for the offensive rebound. Excuse me, that's Dallas Scott pulling down the offensive rebound.
Yeah, Scott had two of them on the possession. If Scott had just been able to gain the ball instead of Gainey, she probably would have had a very easy putback on the first offensive rebound.
Guerrero gets the ball kicked away, so it'll stay with the O'Brien Lady Tigers. New shot clock as they get a fresh 30.
Trudy Fisher's going to use her timeout. It's the second time that we've already seen Drayton be able to really put a lot of pressure on the ball and be able to almost force a turnover. O'Brien's got to be a little bit smarter. They're dribbling a little too much into Drayton, who's a very good defender, but also they're dribbling towards the sideline, allowing the defender to have an extra little bit of help. And that should have really gone back to New Mission if not for the ball hitting the foot first.
No question. Certainly, Tigers got to talk about some things. Our sideline reporter, Noah Riley, has an update for us. Noah, what do you have?
Thanks, guys. Before the game, I got an update about New Mission junior Ashley Surratt. She was a starter both her freshman and her sophomore years, but she's been out since the beginning of the year with an ankle sprain, suffered in the first practice of the year. Coach Bowie said they don't want to rush her back. There's no need to ruin a young player's career in the regular season. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
And I like that point. The regular season, Charles Barkley said the same thing last night about the Philadelphia 76ers playing Joel Embiid. As long as this team can get into the city playoffs, and they certainly have the talent out on the floor right now, if they can have a healthy Surratt, that's going to really help them in the city playoffs and then in states if they can get that far.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that Coach Bowie's thinking about as well, that her long-term health for the season, first of all, her long-term health overall, but secondly, her long-term health over the season is going to be more important than getting her back as soon as possible.
Speaking of injuries, Grace Burns just took a landing and just stayed down, crunched over. She did not look good after that. Possibly just a poke in the face, which would probably be optimal because that would mean she'd be back soon, but we'll have to watch her as she goes along.
And we got a foul right around half court, I believe. That's going to be on Flores.
This has been a really long possession when you factor in the kick ball, a couple offensive rebounds, back-to-back fouls, but there's only 5 on the shot clock. Oh, they're going to put 30 back on.
quite see what happened there. I was looking at the shot clock that was moving at lightning speed. It looked like a double dribble by
just
O'Brien.
a dribble right on the line. It was close, but again, you can't inbound the ball to that spot because that line becomes an extra defender.
So many coaches talk about using that line in press defenses. As Jashari Green goes again towards the rim. This time she gets fouled. And I believe it's on the floor. Oh, she's going to shoot 2 free throws. Yeah,
Lena Guerrero did the right thing there, tried to get in front of her. The issue was because she went underneath the screen, she allowed Jashari Green to get to the basket. They're going to actually overturn it. I think it should have been continuation, but it's tough to tell what's continuation at the high school level versus the college level, and especially the NBA.
So the foul was on the floor. Drayton going to work inside. Offensive foul on Shania Drayton.
Yeah, that one was pretty obvious. Jabria Horsley did a nice job of getting position, and Drayton came shoulder right into the chest. That one's going to be called every time.
And Gaines going to be whistled for a violation as she was moving her feet as she was inbounding the ball. Because it wasn't a basket by New Mission, she can't move up and down the baseline, so that's a turnover by the Tigers.
And that's a turnover because Burns isn't on the floor. You need your best ball handler, your leader, to be out there. And look, she's already back towards the end of the bench next to her coach, hopefully back in soon for O'Brien fans.
Titans get it into Drayton. Drayton towards the bucket.
That's just a really strong move. Drayton getting a little bit of room underneath and a hard drive to the basket.
4-point lead rather for New Mission, and now getting fouled on her way to the rim for the Lady Tigers is the 7th grader, Jasmine Cox.
It's a really good take there by Cox, and Drayton thought that she got all ball there, but she got a piece of the arm, and it's certainly a little bit of hip-to-hip contact. That's multiple fouls on Drayton here, and we're still very early in this game.
Cox takes the first free throw of the game and is unable to hit. Substitution for the New Mission Titans. Winnie Canoe back in.
And that'll send Drayton to the bench with those 2 fouls. Cox is known for her defense, but that was a really nice take. Unable to hit either free throw, though.
A reset back to the top of the key. 3-ball. Good that time for O'Brien as Christina Pham buries it. One 7th grader getting to the free throw line, the other hitting the 3.
Do you think there's going to be a little bit of trash talking after the fact, a little bit of bragging rights for Christina Pham versus Vin Bowie, especially after knocking down a 3 like that? I'm sure Vin has a lot to do with what Christina looks like as a player, getting major minutes as a 7th grader.
And almost a turnover there for New Mission. Wide open is Winnie Canoe, who traveled with the basketball.
Wow, that's a tough break for New Mission. Both defenders for O'Brien after the turnover went to the corner trying to guard the 3. There were 2 New Mission players wide open, but Canoe took 1 too many steps.
Runner that time from Jasmine Cox. These 2 7th graders connect for 5 straight points. And O'Brien with a 1-point lead, and they create another turnover.
Yeah, Canoe did the exact same thing O'Brien did minutes ago, moving along the baseline. Couple of costly mistakes for Canoe in a row.
The 3-ball on the way, that one long for the freshman, and here comes New Mission. Gonzalez inside to Kinu. Beautiful feed from Gonzalez.
This is an up-and-down game, Pat. 2 of the top 4 scoring teams in the entire Boston City League, and we're seeing why. They get up and down. They're pretty good at finishing around the hoop, and this is one of the higher-paced high school games you're going to see. A lot of good ball handling as well.
So O'Brien takes a timeout here. 2:28 left to go in the first quarter. New Mission back on top after that nice pass from Gonzalez to Kinu. And there you see Coach Fisher has to do a lot of teaching this year with the young players. As here you see a nice look inside for Kinu. But with all these, you got 7th graders, freshmen, sophomores. Some of these 7th graders, I mean, they're clearly talented. We've seen them out on the floor too, but they just don't have the basketball experience yet to really know what's going on out there.
Well, they don't have the basketball experience, but they also just don't have the size. If this group grows just a couple inches apiece, and the 7th and 8th graders, they really should, then they're going to kind of have the size to compete against some of the bigger teams. Typically, Fenway always has those really big posts. And New Mission's, I mean, Keanu's a little bit smaller than their typical 5, but she's got some good size as well. The one thing this team really lacks more than anything else is a true post player.
Both teams sharing the ball well. 4 players on each squad have scored. Runner no good that time from O'Brien. Gets knocked out of bounds. Going to stay with the Tigers, as that was Jabari Horsley trying to go to the rim.
Really nice take by Horsley there. And again, O'Brien fortunate. He's almost turned over, but able to keep control, and Horsley scores on her second chance.
Back to an O'Brien lead, 12-11, here with 2 minutes left to go. Green straight to the goal, and she's going to get 2 free throws.
Great take by Green, but Horsley needs to step to Green. You have to identify who's the biggest threat defensively, and Horsley didn't step early enough. It was a 2-on-1. Give the open jumper from the baseline. Make someone else beat you, and Green's not only going to be consistently go to the hoop, but he's also a pretty good shooter, and likely will end up being a pretty good free throw shooter, although she was pretty far off in the first.
Shire with 4 points, leads all scorers.
It's funny, this is a New Mission home game, but O'Brien has brought a lot of fans, and it got very loud for those 2 free throws.
Both teams now 0 for 2 from the free throw line. Pass is stolen away by Keanu. Here comes Green. Jashari, eyes on the bucket. That's her 3rd layup of the night, and New Mission regains the lead.
And again, if O'Brien doesn't recognize that you have to step in front of the player, Pham is just shielding her from getting too close to the basket. Well, with Green's length, she's a lot closer to the basket than most players of her size.
Horsley banks another one off the window.
All of a sudden, Horsley has 4 points. She's keeping her team in it. For O'Brien, this is great because Burns is sitting, and they're still in the game.
What a play by Cox. She stuffs Keanu. Now back down the other end goes O'Brien. Layup is good from the freshman Guerrero. And look at the young Lady Tigers getting out on the New Mission Titans.
I mean, this is amazing to watch. It feels like it's a playoff atmosphere because, again, I think O'Brien is feeling the revenge factor after those 2 losses. Great job of getting out in transition. 2 players there after the really big block on Keanu. And a nice finish from Guerrero. Whatever Trudy Fisher told her team, and maybe the team told their fans, they are jacked up for this game. It feels like we're playing at O'Brien's gym much more than New Mission's gym. New Mission right now, the bench is pretty quiet. The fans aren't into it. They need something to get going.
You see the other look there as Cox with a great block underneath. You mentioned not a lot of size for this O'Brien team. But they have, I mean, Cox showed some ups right there getting that block, and certainly a player that can, she looks very versatile for this O'Brien team, just a 7th grader.
Well, and she's a defensive star. How often do you hear about that in basketball? Certainly football players pride themselves on being a defensive star, but that's great to see. And the other thing is, Keanu's got to get that ball up. You allow smaller players to have a chance to block you if you start from the hip. If she starts from her shoulder, got a much better chance because her shoulder is already taller than Cox.
That's right, especially against this smaller O'Brien lineup. Keanu's got to keep the ball up. Green lays it down to Gonzalez. Beautiful feed from Deshari Green. Back to a 1-point game. Swat inside by Keanu. Green gets her pass picked off by Horsley. And Guerrero shuffled the feet. That's going to go back to the Lady Titans with 40 seconds left to go in the quarter.
And that goes back to youth. Lena Guerrero, back-to-back possessions because they get the steal in the middle of that. She tries to force it with 25 on the shot clock. Dribble that out, keep the possession going, and then got caught in between passing and shooting. Just need to breathe a little bit more. Sometimes when you're that young, you haven't played as much basketball, the game speeds up on you.
Green short with the floater, and it's Cox with the rebound. Cox short on that layup, but the rebound comes back down to the Lady Tigers. Gainey now back up top. Grace Burns back in.
Shot clock turned off there. That's a really bad take by Horsley, forcing with 15 seconds left.
Here comes Green, under 10 seconds left to go, and she loses it out of bounds. It's going to stay with New Mission, so just under 8 seconds left before the end of the quarter. See what New Mission runs here.
Get the ball to Green and let her work.
Gonzalez, corner three, at the buzzer, you betcha.
I think that's a Vin Bowie design play. Really nice job there. Everyone focuses on Green as soon as she catches it. Inbounder slips to the near corner, and that's a great take to finish off what was a very exciting quarter.
Really nice defensive play there by the 7th grader, but it's New Mission with a 3-point lead at the end of one. We'll be right back with the second quarter here on Game of the Week. Right after these words, don't go away.
Red hat. Oops. Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt. Oops. Yellow pants, red pants, green pants. Oops.
Welcome back to New Mission High School in Hyde Park for Game of the Week as the New Mission Lady Titans lead the O'Brien Lady Tigers 18-16. Folks, if you want to follow us on social media, you can certainly go to our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/GameOfTheWeekBoston for a lot of good updates and different pictures and videos for our Game of the Week coverage. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW.
O'Brien just came out, and it looks like they're going to go into a 2-3 zone. I was wondering during the break if they try to zone to limit Jashari Green. I would kind of go more with the box and one and just keep the focus on Jashari Green, but we'll see how this semi-zone look works against preventing Green from getting into the paint.
Green, Okino's whistled for the moving screen there, so that'll go back to O'Brien.
Great job by Pham fighting through the screen, and Kinu just threw out the hip a little bit. Can't do that. And that's a break for O'Brien. A little bit of pressure, just a different look out of the intermission.
Grace Burns looking for an opening, and she got fouled on her way to the basket.
Yeah, the 2 point guards aren't playing each other, which is a little bit surprising to me. The best players, some of the leaders between these two teams, but that time it was Gonzalez trying to slow down Burns. It was a really nice take.
Burns does not hit the first.
New Mission fans finally getting a little bit of energy after that strong finish to the quarter. Now they're getting loud on the O'Brien free throws.
Burns misses the second. Both teams are a combined 0 for 6 at the free throw line. Here comes Green straight down the court again, and she'll get 2 free throws.
Burns can't believe it, but she definitely came down on the ball/hand, and you just see it here with the left hand. You can't do that. Even if you get all ball, the referee's typically going to call the foul in there because you came down, and it did look like she caught a little bit of the hand.
Neither team can break this free throw trend. They're now combined 0 for 7 at the stripe.
I think the rims aren't helping, and we have those mics on the rims. It's pretty hard right now, not very forgiving for these young players.
And Green is able to hit the second substitution for the Lady Tigers as Jabria Hosley comes back in. Hosley had a nice few minutes in that first quarter.
Yeah, and another player who's looked very aggressive. It's been a very balanced effort thus far from O'Brien offensively.
Burns stops, pops, and gets it to go.
Every single bit of the rim. Those are her first points, and again, she's pulled up for that mid-range a couple of times. That's a really nice shot, and it's not a shot the opposition's typically looking to defend.
Back inside is Green. She squeezes that one home for the Titans.
Really nice feed and a good finish against a defender right in her face.
3-point lead now for New Mission. Burns again. That time off to the side was her shot. Gonzalez off the crossover. What a move.
Well, the referees just missed a bad foul. Kinu threw Burns to the ground because she got her arm underneath the head of Burns. That should have been a foul, no basket. And I think Burns may have caught her head on the floor. That was a mistake. It's tough with the two-man crew, but they missed a pretty blatant offensive foul there on Keanu. And now the question is, Burns, who's already come off once, will she be able to come back in the game? Her head coach is having some words with the referee as she checks on her star player. And Burns is throwing the elbow, showing the exact same things. Keanu didn't intend to throw Burns to the ground, but that's a size difference. And you're going to see it down low. You see the right arm of Keanu come up, and Burns goes down hard.
Yeah, Grace Burns, also a soccer player for the O'Brien Tigers, so certainly very good athlete. Toughness for this O'Brien team. But Keanu certainly showing off her strength there. So here comes Horsley, trying to feed it down inside. Shania Drayton rips it away from O'Brien and then gets fouled underneath.
Yeah, I think they're going to get number 35 there, Nakia Andrade. The Little U senior is getting some action here with Burns out. Another missed shot there by Horsley, just trying a little bit from deep, and here comes Green the other way.
And Jashari is going to get 2 more free throws as continue to be a broken record here with the way she's driving the basketball down the floor.
This is a really dangerous time right now for O'Brien as Pham, a little bit of contact. They might have also gotten Cox, who was trying to slow down Jashari Green. But with Burns out of the game once again, can they avoid turnovers and can they get consistent looks? They did an okay job of that when Burns came off with a poke somewhere in the face in the first quarter. But this time it looks like she was a little bit more banged up as she stayed down on the ground for a while.
And Green misses both free throws again as Gonzalez comes away with the offensive rebound.
Yeah, Green, though, is having a tremendous game. 9 points and 5 rebounds already.
Guerrero gets it poked away. And the runner is good that time from the other Gonzalez sister, Jayla Gonzalez. Cox trying the rainbow jumper that's off the back iron.
Well, Vin Bowie's squad isn't putting that much pressure after every made basket. I mean, there's a little bit of a press, but O'Brien is breaking it easily. Every time they give up a basket, they're sending 1, if not 2 players over the top, and that should have been an easy look if not for the pass being slightly off the mark for Jasmine Cox, who has the speed to easily get to the hoop.
Turnaround no good for Drayton. Green with the rebound, but it's stolen away. Stolen back by Drayton. Now she looks underneath for Green, and that's going to go back to the Tigers.
Great job by Pham to read the play, but then you have to recognize there's a lot of players around you. Be a little bit smarter with the ball.
Guerrero getting out on the break, but she lost it out of bounds. That's going to stay with the Tigers as it went off of Jashari Green.
It's just that football pass. I feel like we're getting a little bit of the weekend preview, although I don't think Brady and Mahomes are going to be throwing a lot of 50-yard passes with how cold it's supposed to be in Kansas City.
Cox trying for a 3, well off the mark. Rebound to Guerrero. Back to Cox. Going to put that up, but it's deflected. Another block inside by Drayton. Late whistle for the foul. That's 3 fouls on Shania Drayton.
And you can see some tentativeness for O'Brien. That was a good take by Andrade, who will get her first chance at the line. But they're getting offensive rebounds. They're not going up with it because they don't have that floor leader, that floor general, and Grace Burns out there to kind of direct traffic, tell them where to go. They just have a lot of youth on the floor right now.
And Andrade unable to even catch rim on that free throw as Winnie Keanu comes back in for the Titans.
9-2 run to start the quarter for New Mission. And a big part of that has been the absence of Burns, who scored the only points in the quarter for this Lady Tigers team.
Kamika Works also in for New Mission. Now substitution for the Tigers as Nicole Tran comes back in. Well, Andre heads to the bench. And coming back in for the Titans as Jayla Gonzalez comes in for Rayla Gonzalez. That wayward pass stolen away by Fan, but then it's poked away by New Mission.
Just feel like we're watching hot potato a little bit here. A lot of near turnovers.
Guerrero fires up a three. She's short with that one. Gonzalez comes away with the rebound. Gonzalez parts the Red Sea, but is unable to convert. Kinu there for the putback.
O'Brien consistently is not stopping the ball in transition. That's the first thing you need to do defensively, whether it's Green or someone else. Now Green has another wide open look.
Lefty layup, good for Green. New Mission on a big-time run now as they're up by 11.
Yeah, O'Brien right now needs to find a little bit of offense. They need to find someone who's willing to take charge and realistic, just to need a basket at this point.
Runner from Guerrero, no good. It's poked back up. Kinu going after the rebound, but it's going to stay with the Tigers.
I really like Lena Carrera's hustle, but also just her energy. I mean, she misses that shot, immediately follows it up against the much bigger Kino, keeps the play alive. This is a player who's very young as a freshman, but is just stepping up and willing to take that leadership role.
Runner no good that time from Gainey, and here come the Titans, but Green's pass was a little too high for Briandi Trente Arun, the sophomore.
Maybe a bit too unselfish. And now we've got a really interesting matchup. Green heads to the bench for the first time. Burns is on the bench. Who's going to take charge for either side?
Right now it looks like Guerrero in control for the Tigers. Gainey with a runner, unable to get that to go.
Good look, though. Just couldn't quite get it. You have to figure if you're New Mission that you're going to go to Kinu if you can find her down low.
Guerrero off her miss, trying to look for an open teammate as O'Brien sort of standing around a little bit. Runner that time no good, but Guerrero there for the putback, and she's going to get 2 free throws off the trend miss.
So Lena Guerrero, the second smallest player on the floor, is the biggest threat for the offensive rebounds. Really the only player fighting for it, and that time draws contact. She already has 7 rebounds in this game, 5 on the offensive glass, and she can't be much taller than 5 feet.
And she sinks the first free throw. Yeah, she's the shortest player out there at the moment.
Well, I think Nicole Tran might have been a little bit shorter, but she's back on the bench.
Horsley back in for O'Brien, and Grace Burns also back in.
And with that, with Green still on the bench, this is a chance for O'Brien, who scored just 3 points in the quarter after putting up 60 in the first quarter, to maybe get some momentum going down by 10.
Wayward pass there from Winnie Kinu, so that's going to stay with the Lady Tigers.
Be interesting with Drayton on the bench, with Surratt still yet to play this season, and Green sitting right now. Who's going to be that lead ball handler, but also who's going to look for their shot offensively?
Guerrero had a wide open Burns underneath. She does get fouled at the top of the key, and now I believe we've got a 1-on-1 situation. Guerrero heading to the stripe.
And Vin Bowie very frustrated. One of the big differences this year for New Mission versus in the past under Mitch Hercules, he's wanting to play a little bit more conservatively defensively, not allow teams to get into the bonus because of foul trouble.
Gonzalez loses it off her foot, I thought, but they're going to...
It looked like to you and I that it should have been off of her, but the referee's a lot closer. Maybe it caught a little bit of Grace Burns' toe.
Full court press now for the Tigers, and Jashari Green going to break that and then some. Jashari with another layup. She doesn't get it to go. And getting fouled on the putback is Tamika Works, the sophomore, so she'll get a couple of free throws.
Yeah, Jasmine Cox just jumped right into her. And it'll be interesting. Neither team's been able to do anything really from the free throw line.
And Works gets the friendly roll on the first.
It's a big spot for O'Brien. They're down 11, but they've already given up 30 points, and they haven't played competition like this much this year, but they only give up 28.3 points per game, 3rd best in all of the Boston City League. So their defense hasn't been leading them like it usually does. Can they find the offense here towards the end of this second quarter?
Just 3 points here in the second quarter for the Lady Tigers. 3 ball on the way, but no good from the 7th grader. And And now that pass a little too far in front of Gonzalez.
Jashari Green is making the right decision. She's being unselfish. She's finding the player getting out in transition. She just needs to take a little bit off of these passes. Some of these players just aren't quite at the same level as her, and she needs to recognize that, make it a little bit easier for them to get that pass.
And both these teams now throwing the ball all over the court, as that one's going to go back to New Mission. Tran back in for O'Brien.
And here comes a double team on Green on the inbounds, trying to keep it out of her hands.
Kinu almost throws it away. Now back to Green. Dushari back to Works, and she's fouled on the 3.
And it was unnecessary. I mean, that ball was going to be off the mark. Probably not hit the side of the backboard, but Horsley unable to slow down her momentum right into the body, and we've already seen it. Works looks pretty good from the free throw line, and these are unnecessary fouls from O'Brien.
And Works misses the first. And second free throw no good. She'll get one more. Substitution for the Titans as Jayla Gonzalez comes back in. Works 0 for 3 from the line, but Rayla Gonzalez rather gets the rebound. Then it's Kinu. And Winnie's done that a couple of times where she's moved her feet a little bit before even setting. And that time she's whistled for the travel.
Yeah, and Winnie, she's taken huge steps forward, but realistically for her offensively, she needs to keep it simple. Just take one dribble and go straight up with it.
And Grace Burns whistle for the travel, and I think Coach Fisher's going to tell her, hey, take the shot. She was deep in the paint that time. She could have put up a runner.
I love the fact that she immediately looked at her coach and said, no way was that a travel. No way, coach, I promise you. But unfortunately, the only person that matters is the referees.
Gonzalez can't get that runner to go. Gets her own rebound, tries to feed it inside, and Gainey's there to tie it up. That's a jump ball that'll go back to the O'Brien Lady Tigers with about a minute and a half left to go here in the second quarter. Just 3 points in this quarter for O'Brien. See if they can make a run here before halftime.
10 on the shot clock.
Pham gets it poked away by Gonzalez. Green out on the break. Gonzalez taking it all the way to the rim. And Gonzalez will get 2 free throws.
And again, Cox just jumping into Gonzalez, but you just gave her too much space. See how she continues to back up. You have to figure out where you are on the floor, stop, and make the offensive player do something. You can't give them that lane to the hoop. And that's happened time and time again. I'm sure it's something Trudy Fisher will talk to her team about at halftime. They need to do a better job defending the paint, not giving easy access.
Well, if you're O'Brien right now, every time a player goes to the basket, just foul them, because New Mission has been dreadful here in the first half at the free throw line.
Not that O'Brien's been much better. O'Brien's certainly left a good amount of chances as Kinu, again, just that bigger size, knocking down the smaller players. She tried to track down what she thought would be a rebound.
So Rayla Gonzalez, 1 out of 2, as Kinu picks up the miss from Horsley, and here comes Gonzalez, who gets fouled again.
That's a good foul. That is a really good foul. Don't give up the easy layup. Ariana Gainey, who's a really good defender, wisely gives up the foul here, and we talk about a poor free throw percentage, will now make her earn it. But at least that time it was a foul out of necessity rather than a foul because of poor defensive positioning.
So Gonzalez again not able to hit the first, as AC Coach Vin Bowie, the first-year head coach at New Mission. Second free throw is good from Gonzalez. Bowie, 3-year assistant for the girls program here at New Mission before becoming the head coach in the offseason. Jayla to her sister Rayla. Stolen away by Green. Quickly to Gonzalez for the easy bucket.
Having a couple times where the shot clock's been turned off and O'Brien turns it over and allows New Mission to get an opportunity.
Tran no good on the 3. Green then quickly up the floor again to Rayla Gonzalez for the easy layup.
Still 4 seconds left.
Grace Burns trying it herself, unable to hit it. And a big-time run there in the second quarter for the Lady Titans. They outscore New Mission by an 18-3 run. So 15-point change there in the second quarter. And my goodness, New Mission, all of a sudden this was a great game to start the second quarter, going back and forth with the lead. Now New Mission's up by 18. Happened in a flash.
Yeah, I mean, Jashari Green has taken over this game, and she's played extremely well. And also, Grace Burns has been out for sizable portions of this game because she's been hit in the head twice. So that's really slowed down O'Brien. But right now, the biggest difference is the slightly bigger team is bullying the smaller team. I mean, New Mission is using their size. They're getting a lot of looks down low. They're starting to hit their free throws a little bit at the end of the half. And O'Brien needs to do a better job of getting better position defensively. If they can do that, it doesn't matter that they're smaller. They can at least make it a lot more difficult to score down low.
No question. Now, if you're Coach Trudy Fisher, your players obviously aren't going to grow at halftime. So what kind of adjustments are you going to make?
Well, you have to do a better job of defending the paint. Make them hit jumpers, which isn't easy at this level. And with the exception of Jashari Green, not that many players have done that. And also, offensively, you need to get better looks.
No question. And our sideline reporter for tonight is Noah Riley, and he is with the head coach of New Mission, Vinny Bowie. So, Noah, take it away.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Coach Bowie of New Mission. Coach, 18-point lead going into the half. What have been the keys to success for you guys?
Pretty much we have Jashari Green, and they don't. I mean, O'Brien's doing a tremendous job on defense, but it's just, Jashari's just on another level tonight. Well, so far this half, that's really been the main thing. They forced a ton of turnovers on us. Really got us playing at a fast pace. But luckily for us, that's kind of the pace that we're kind of used to, which I'm surprised is their strategy. But we'll take it. That's been what's been successful for us. Are you guys going to slow it down in the second half with such a big lead, or just keep going, keep fast breaking like you've been doing all game? Oh no, we're going to fast break. Transition's our thing, and if they want to continue to speed us up, that's a pace where we're going to go. We practice for this stuff. I actually seen a bunch of their games, so I know what they're trying to do, but we're going to counter it the best we can. So, I mean, it is what it is from that point.
All right, thanks so much, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Noah, thanks very much. And Coach Bowie, much like the previous New Mission head coaches, both on the boys and girls side, they're not going to stop running. That's the type of game they like to play. They like to create turnovers, get out and transition. That's exactly what they were successful with in the first half.
Well, and when you have a lead ball handler like Jashari Green who can be able to handle that pace, who can really control the game even at a higher pace, that's going to help you. And he made a great point. He was surprised that O'Brien is playing that pace because, yes, they have Grace Burns, who's a good ball handler, but when you're that young, sometimes the game speeds up on you to begin with. If you go at a very high pace, it's even more likely to snowball. And I think we saw that happen, especially when Burns went out of the game early in the second quarter.
Yeah, we'll see if some of these teams can make some adjustments here at halftime and see what they come out with for the third quarter. We're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have some halftime stats and some halftime highlights before the third quarter gets going here at New Mission High. We'll be right back.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can
get someone a cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates. Our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Welcome back to New Mission High School in Hyde Park for Game of the Week. as the New Mission Lady Titans lead the O'Brien Lady Tigers 37-19. We're just about ready, it looks like, to start the third quarter here at New Mission High. And right now, if O'Brien wants to get back in this game, like you mentioned, Seth, they got to do something about this fast break by the Jashari Green, the head point guard for New Mission.
Yeah, I mean, Jashari Green has been the difference. Vin Bowie, I love the honesty that we typically get from the New Mission coaches, especially from Corey McCarthy, the former boys coach. He was never one to mince words. He's 100% right. She is a special talent in the city. She's a player who's going to play collegiately, and who knows at what level. Just a junior. She still has room in her game to play, but I think she has room to improve in this game. She can do a better job of finding her teammates in transition. For O'Brien, the biggest thing here is keep them out of the paint. Canoe should be the only player they're giving free access to the paint. Keep the ball out of the paint and make them work a little bit harder for their baskets.
Nice feed inside, but again, Keno unable to convert. Keno there for the offensive putback, doesn't go down for. And the rebound comes out to, looks like Pham got that rebound.
So not exactly what they were looking to do there. If you're O'Brien defensively, you allow Keno to get in there, which is okay, but then Green extends the possession. Keno gets a second chance, but able to get the rebound. Now can they get some points? They had 3 points in the second quarter. An early basket here would be huge for their confidence. 18 points is a lot. They've already scored 19, though, so just need to get a little bit of offensive confidence. Going to get a blocking call there on Rayla Gonzalez, and foul trouble's a little bit of an issue for New Mission. And they're going to bring out Gonzalez. They'll replace her with Jadalise Flores. Vin Bowie dealing with a little bit of a shorter bench than O'Brien has available tonight. And another foul. That's 3 here in the opening 52 seconds. Pat, if you can hit your free throws, you can really get yourself back into the game with the clock stopped. O'Brien struggled a little bit. They're going to make an early change. Cox is on for Guerrero after she played really well in the first half.
Yeah, I think probably one of the biggest reasons O'Brien's still sort of in this game is because New Mission just hasn't been able to hit anything from the free throw line.
Well, remember, about the early second quarter, it was all O'Brien getting the free throw attempts, and then New Mission got into the bonus. Both of these teams have left a lot of points at the charity stripe.
Good feed inside from Burns, but unable to hit the shot underneath was Dallas Scott. Here comes Jayla Gonzalez. 3 ball off the back iron for New Mission. And quickly down the floor goes Cox, who hits the layup.
An early 2, a little bit of a confidence, and O'Brien's playing with a little bit more energy here to start the third quarter.
And dipsy-do that time from Gonzalez. She gets the roll off the window.
That was a really nice play. Not only scooping it up, and there's a 5-second call on Burns, but also she drew contact on the ball going up, so she had to fight through that a little bit to make that really nice finish.
Well, it's been a frustrating night so far for Grace Burns, who has been knocked down a few times, has had to sit out, hasn't hit too many jumpers, missed a couple free throws. She's got that 5-second violation. Green couldn't squeeze that home. Rebound comes down to Burns. Burns with a full head of steam, and she's not able to hit that jumper.
Yeah, just left it up a little short.
Gonzalez, eyes on the rim, goes right by Burns.
Burns getting her hands up, but leaving a little bit of room to get past on the right side of the basket.
Guerrero doesn't get the roll.
Well, that would have been our play of the game. The behind the back pass from Gainey, and then a near basket there for O'Brien. That was one of the better behind the back passes I've seen this season in high school basketball.
Gainey off the pass from Burns, tries a runner. Bryant gets the offensive rebound. Gainey gets the jumper to go.
Gainey has been a force on this possession. Doing a nice job there from the baseline. And already, O'Brien has scored more points in this quarter in under 3 minutes than they did all of the second.
Corner three off the front rim. Quickly, they get it up to Gainey. Pass a little too far for her. She is able to chase it down. Fires up a three, and it's well short. Cox coming away with the rebound. Burns for three. Buries it for the Tigers, and it's back to a 15-point game.
Wow, I'm surprised Vin Bowie's not using his timeout. O'Brien gaining a little confidence, playing with a little bit more pizzazz, but you have confidence in your shooters, and Flores answers right back.
Yeah, Flores with the three. So back to an 18-point lead for New Mission. Pretty good way to answer that little run from O'Brien. Runner good that time from Guerrero.
Beautiful Euro step from the freshman. That was a really nice play to get around the defender.
Gonzalez behind the back, getting a little too fancy. This is picked up by Gainey. Now poked away by New Mission.
I think Gonzalez saw what Gainey did and wanted to one-upper.
Green off the crossover gets fouled by the 7th grader.
I think O'Brien right now is out to prove that no matter what the score is, they're able to compete with New Mission. They did it in the first quarter. They're doing it here in the third. And again, that's the kind of foul that I want to see O'Brien give. Green's going to the hoop. Don't let her score the easy two. Make her have to earn it from the free throw line. She's hasn't been as successful there as she's been everywhere else.
Green misses the first. We got wholesale substitutions except for one for O'Brien, as the only player that's going to stay on the floor, it looks like, is Grace Burns. Shari Green, he's got 11 points and 9 assists, so a good night for her, but she's only 1 for 7 from the free throw line.
Well, I'm sure that'll be an area that she'll work on going forward if she knocks down the second. But Green is the great difference maker in this game as she forces the near turnover there. Just her calmness whenever she has the ball has really helped New Mission in this fast-paced game.
Tran tries a runner off the window. Horsley tries another runner, no good. And Kinu comes away with the rebound for New Mission. And Gonzalez took a couple extra steps, and that's going to go back to the Lady Tigers here with 3:46 left to go in the third quarter.
That's a high IQ play by Christina Pham, recognizing that Gonzalez is immediately going to try to turn and throw the ball in the outlet pass. If you get in front of the player when they don't expect you to, they'll turn, they'll shuffle their feet because they're not expecting it, and another turnover. O'Brien, the one thing they've done really well today is force those turnovers.
Good shot there of Coach Trudy Fisher, who looks a little less animated on the sideline right now. I think because she knows she's got such a young team, and she knows there's a lot of teaching and learning going on with this squad. They're certainly playing hard, so you got to think that she's, going to reserve some of that yelling and more animated coaching for as these players grow a little bit. Trudy's been around a long time and been coaching basketball in the city of Boston for a long time, so she knows what she's doing there. Meanwhile, for Coach Bowie, his first season as head coach of New Mission after 3 seasons as the assistant to Mitchell Hercule. And then before that, he was an assistant for a couple of years under Corey McCarthy and actually won a state championship ring with the New Mission Titans back in 2014.
And Vin Bowie is a guy that his players didn't want him to leave. He wasn't sure if he wanted to take the head job. He does a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, player development, working one-on-one with players, but they begged him to stay. Didn't take the job until November, and clearly I think this team has a chance to succeed. Still working to make some of those changes. That's a great finish from his niece, Christina Pham.
Christina Pham, the 7th grader, gets that runner to go. We'll see if she can complete the 3-point play.
And Christina is a player, as a 7th grader, if she gets bigger, she's going to be really, really difficult to guard because she's already one of those crafty players, has a good shot. We've seen her knock down a 3. The other thing is if she continues to work with her uncle, as long as he'll still work with the team's rivals, I think she's going to improve those ball handling skills, continue to become a better basketball player because he's so good at molding young players.
Mission lead back down to 16 here, 3:15 left to go in the third quarter. Tigers are going to have to make some kind of run here in the third to try to at least inch back closer to the Lady Titans. Gonzalez. Green there for the putback.
Jashari's doing a great job of offensive rebounding from the weak side, figuring out where the ball's likely to land. She's had a couple offensive rebounds in this quarter, and she's well on her way to a double-double, if not more. Between the assists and the rebounds, she is just so valuable to this team. So 16 points, 10 assists, just needs 3 rebounds for the triple-double.
I think they had me in the sight line for that pass right there as that goes out of bounds back to New Mission.
Pat, if you could score from this angle, I'd be very impressed. This is a Steph Curry shot with the basket almost completely obstructed by the backboard.
Well, you know what shot I was great at was behind the backboard in the driveway, the Larry Bird shot where he was falling out of bounds. Used to practice that one all the time. That was my go-to in horse.
I think you're showing your age because these kids probably would focus more on a Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen guy.
That might even be too old for some of these kids. That was about 10 years ago when those guys were winning the title for the Celtics. We got a timeout here on the floor with just over, looks like 2:22 left to go in the third quarter. And we keep talking about how New Mission gets to the basket and getting to the free throw line. And when you talk about this O'Brien team who doesn't really have a shot blocker inside, you got to think they're going to try to have to slide over and try to draw some charges. If you can't block shots, you got to draw charges underneath.
And they have 0 charges in this game. I think they've done a slightly better job. There's a really cute little fan who certainly doesn't remember Paul Pierce playing for the Celtics.
He probably remembers him from being a TV analyst.
Yeah, I was about to say, he probably doesn't even remember as a New Jersey Net. I think they're just kind of they need to work together as a defense. I'm a little surprised that Trudy Fisher hasn't gone to his zone. But the big thing about playing his own defense is you need players who have a lot of experience working together. This team's so young that might be a little uncomfortable for them.
Gonzalez with a nice feed down low to Kinu.
Yeah, Kinu is the other big difference maker because she's so big. And we haven't seen much of DJ Russo in this game. Not that she's the biggest post player, but she's the biggest that O'Brien has.
Kinu now with 6 points and 9 rebounds for the Lady Titans. Grace Byrne and Horsley going to head to the bench.
Green on the block.
Inside for Green. Nice move to the rim. Couldn't finish over the top. Kinu on the putback. She doesn't get it to go, but she will get 2 free throws.
Well, that's the design play. They got Green on Guerrero, who's giving up not only height, but a good amount of a little bit of weight there, too. Green's just filled out a little bit more than the smaller Guerrero. But she held her ground. Again, Lena Guerrero has really impressed me today.
Kinu no good on the first.
Kinu, though, solid game. 6 points, 9 rebounds. Blocker, too. She has made her impact known.
Knocks down the second, so she stretches it out to a 21-point lead. For New Mission, under 2 minutes left in the third quarter.
And there's the length of Green. Vin Bowie said that was one of her best attributes. She's so long, good at getting in passing lanes. But again, O'Brien, use the entire floor. Don't keep coming down and dribbling along the sideline. You're just helping out the defense.
Gainey with a wide open look at 3, and that clangs off the backboard.
Just a little bit too strong there.
Kinu, again getting the feed down low.
Yeah, that's an even bigger mismatch. The last time they went Green on Guerrero, this time the even bigger Kinu, and an easy 2.
Gainey with a runner, and she can't get that floater to fall for her. Putback no good. Gainey there for the putback. Third time is a charm for Gainey.
O'Brien just doesn't back down. Yes, they're down by 20-plus points. Yes, they're the smaller team, but they're continue to be extremely aggressive in this contest.
A little too much mustard on that one for Green. She gets the steal and the layup.
Gainey got caught. She thought she'd already traveled, dropped the ball, and for Green, she just saw it, picked it up in an easy 2.
And that pass nowhere near Guerrero, so that'll go back to New Mission with just under 40 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. Shania Drayton back in with her 3 fouls.
And Drayton's typically a key player for New Mission, but she hasn't been playing as much because of that early foul trouble. Vin Bowie not wanting to risk her if O'Brien went on a run.
Post up from Green. She couldn't handle the pass, and that's going to go back to O'Brien.
Jashari Green is a really interesting player because she's clearly the star of this New Mission team, one of the best players in the city, but she's not your typical star point guard. She doesn't use her speed as much as her length and her size.
And Drayton tried to dish it off, but that's going to go back to O'Brien once again.
Under 15 to go in the quarter.
Guerrero gets the runner blocked inside by Gonzalez.
See what Van Bowie has here. They've had a couple really good inbound plays, and they've been really successful scoring late in quarters.
Green, runner off the window just before the buzzer. Boy, Jashari is just putting on a show here at home against O'Brien. New Mission with a 25-point lead heading into the break. Folks, will come right back for the fourth quarter here on Game of the Week right after these words.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework.
He
I hate homework. It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Welcome back to New Mission High School in Hyde Park for Game of the Week. New Mission Lady Titans lead the O'Brien Lady Tigers. Next week, we got another girls game. It'll be over at Latin Academy in Dorchester. Tech Boston Bears taking on the Latin Academy Dragons, who have really not surprised everybody this year, but Latin Academy, very good team that Coach Devers said is probably the best in a decade at their school. That's Friday, January 25th at 5:30 p.m. live on Boston City TV. You got Comcast Channel 24, RCN Channel 13, Verizon Channel 1962.
Pat, I mean, speaking about Latin Academy real quick, Fiona Mannion went off for a school record 43 against this New Mission side, so be interesting to see what she can do in that contest.
Guerrero on the drive. Nice move to the bucket.
Green's on the bench, so Vin Bowie wants to see what some of these younger players can do with the ball.
Trying to feed it inside that time was Tamika Works, the sophomore, but a little too low there for Shania Drayton.
And it's not just Green on the bench to start the fourth, it's also Kinu, so Drayton's really the most veteran player out there for this New Mission team with this big lead.
Stolen away that time by Flores. Here comes Gonzalez. Up to her sister Rayla, who's got the layup.
Great job by Gonzalez. The issue there for Burns, and I mean, yes, she's trying to take the charge, is you're giving space to the opposite side. You need to hedge that even more. Make them, don't give her the angle to get around you, and a really nice finish from Gonzalez.
Gainey going to fire up a three. She can't bank it off the backboard, and the rebound comes down to Jayla Gonzalez.
I think Gainey is aiming to use the bank, though, which is smart, especially because she does typically shoot it with a lot of pace, but one of the few players who typically uses the backboard.
Drayton there for the putback for New Mission.
Game slowed down a little bit here over the last couple of minutes of the third quarter and the fourth. It's not just the lead, but I think also O'Brien's trying to be a little bit more meticulous to generate a little bit more offense.
So Guerrero gets fouled on her way to the rim, forcing the action here. She'll get 2 free throws for the Lady Tigers. And down by 27, you got to hit. They got to hit all their free throws here in the fourth quarter if they want to have any chance.
Yeah, they got to hit all their free throws. They got to knock down some threes. They got to force a lot of turnovers. I don't think this game is over necessarily, but I think this is just as much about a teaching moment for this O'Brien team as it is about the actual win or loss. I mean, again, this team is so young. When you have this much youth, the positive is you can grow a lot more within the course of the season than a team that has a lot of veteran players that have played together for 4 years. There's only so much more those teams can grow.
Okay, you're talking about a higher ceiling for this O'Brien team. As now we got a tie-up inside. Good job by Guerrero. And I believe that is going to go back to... They're going to keep it with the Titans. No, they are going to put it back to the O'Brien Tigers.
Guerrero having a really nice game, 11 points and 7 rebounds for O'Brien. With Burns not having her best offensive day, she's kind of had to carry the load.
Gainey on the runner. Under 6 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. New Mission in full command as Drayton unable to hit that one off the nice feed from Gonzalez.
And a little bit of a run from O'Brien, who gets up. It's Jashari Green heading to the scorer's table.
Gainey, nice feed to Burns, who gets the jumper to fall. Flores. Harassed in the corner, now it's Gonzalez. He can't score off the window. Cox fighting for the loose ball, and that's a foul on Rayla Gonzalez. She's going to head to the bench.
Yeah, just a little bit out of control there for Gonzalez after being unable to convert on the layup. Pat, if you take out the second quarter, which obviously you can't do that in any kind of sporting event, but if you take it out, New Mission was plus 15 in the second. They're only up by 22. This O'Brien team is maybe closer than they were a season ago to New Mission. Although, again, this isn't New Mission's full squad. Ashley Surratt's yet to play, and they're bringing her back slowly with the focus on the playoffs. But I like what we've seen out of O'Brien, who lost by 24 in the city semis and by 33 in the first round of the state playoffs. I just think this team has a lot of room to grow. And again, Burns going out and missing a lot of time in the second quarter, even though she hasn't scored a lot, it really derailed them. They turned the ball over a lot in that quarter. They just couldn't get anything going offensively.
No question. It wasn't, and not just, on top of the turnovers, there was just no cohesion, no organization offensively. So certainly a tough point, and that's why they had that big deficit that they just haven't been able to climb out of. Folks, if you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GameOfTheWeekBoston for all different updates, pictures, videos, a lot of good stuff up there. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. Under 5 minutes left to go here in the fourth quarter. New Mission on top by 22. O'Brien making a slight run here. We'll see if it can continue and try to cut into this New Mission lead. Burns to the corner to Fan. Cox has been sort of quiet offensively, tries to fire it inside, but that pass over everybody and out of bounds.
Yeah, I mean, the tough part for O'Brien is there's no easy baskets because they're almost forced to play 5 out because they're playing 5 guards. So they're not getting any of those easy layups. They don't have a player who has a size advantage. They can't use a Jashari Greenside player and back down the smaller defender on the post. They're just having to do a lot of passing, a lot of dribbling, and now Tanasia Drayton picks up her 4th foul. I think 3 of those have been offensive.
Yeah, Shania whistled for number 4.
Tanasia, of course, her older sister, who
1,000-point scorer at New Mission. Had some pretty big games in the city championship state tournament.
Not the worst player to be confused with.
Grace Burns. Another missed jumper that time. One thing Coach Bowie talked about with Shania was that for a while she sort of had to play in her sister's shadow. Isaiah had a nice move, but she just was unable to finish. But Gonzalez is there for the putback. And this year, Shania is really realizing, she's not a quick point guard, shooter, all-time scorer, assist person like Tanasia was. So she plays her own game now, and you can see it out on the floor. The rebounds, the positioning defensively, and some of the putbacks that she's got.
Well, I think it's especially difficult for younger sisters when they're that close. When they go to the same school, I mean, you look at Ashley Surratt. Ashley's older sister was a really good player for
Kiara.
Kiara was at West Roxbury, I believe. And she was a great scorer, but I mean, she was 5-6 years older, so there was a little bit less pressure of playing in her sister's footsteps, going to a different school, and never playing together at the high school level.
Nice shot there by Burns as she hits the runner off the backboard. Burns is having a nice second half, but it seems like it's too little too late. She's now got 9 points.
And 7 of those have come here in the second half.
Well, Jashari Green, it's like she's playing checkers, everybody else is playing chess. It's very easy for her out there.
If Jashari Green wanted to score 50 in this game, she could have gone off for 50. been very unselfish and is really only looking for her shot when she doesn't see a wide open option.
Grace Burns once again just can't get that mid-range jumper to fall. Jashari now with 22 points for New Mission. And make that 24. She got caught underneath the rim with those long arms. She was able to wrap it around for the basket.
And again, anytime she gets going downhill, even if you have 1 or 2 defenders, she's long, she's strong, so it's just so difficult for this smaller team. I don't know of a player, even going back a couple years, who I think would feel very comfortable one-on-one defending her. She's just such a matchup issue. And you see it there, the unselfishness, recognizing, okay, I have to pick up the dribble. Rather than take the 8 to 12 footer, why don't I find a wide open teammate? And that's the first basket for Toni Golston, the 8th grader.
Pham on the drive, runner no good for her. Rebound comes down to Works, and that tie-up's gonna go back to New Mission. Issy Green with a beautiful laydown right there.
Yeah, and I think Vin Bowie was right when he described Golston as lanky. She's a good-looking body, because if she can grow into that body, she's got that kind of same length as Jashari Green, which can do wonders in basketball, both rebounding and getting into passing lanes. So Burns heads to the bench along with a couple of the other starters.
Yeah, Horsley checks back in for O'Brien. Also in for the Lady Tigers is Danielle Baylard. That runner no good from New Mission. Horsley chasing after the rebound. And it's Tran who's able to come up with it. That'll stay with O'Brien here with 1:47 left to go in the 4th quarter.
So clearly, game is out of reach. But right now, if you're O'Brien, okay, these players don't typically play as much. Can you get some good offensive looks? Can you force a turnover or 2? Can you finish this game off strong?
And a foul on New Mission. That's the 8th grader, Toni Golston.
On the other side, this is the 5th game in 8 days for New Mission, and yet they've looked so energetic. Vin Bowie's got to be really, really happy with his team's performance, especially without Ashley Surrett. I mean, Ashley Surrett probably is the 2nd best player on this team.
No question,
She's a very experienced player. She's played with this team since she was a 7th grader, maybe an 8th grader. Like, they get her back. It takes a little bit of the weight off of Jashari Green's shoulders. This team has a chance to be really good. Haven't seen Fenway this year personally, but we could be seeing another really big battle unless a Latin Academy or an O'Brien can take another big step, although not to take any credit away from Latin Academy. Latin Academy's already beaten New Mission, but without Surrett, and that could be a big difference maker.
No question. You wonder if Surrett would have been the one defending Fiona Mannion, who went out for a school record 43 points. What a tough rebound inside by Drayton.
And that's 43 points in 32 minutes. Which is just wild. I mean, your points per minute.
She's not really a three-point shooter either. I mean, I didn't have the official numbers from that game, but I would imagine she didn't hit that many threes.
I mean, when you're going off for over a point a minute, you're putting up James Harden points.
Well, beautiful floater that time from Tran, who gets her first basket.
I think Trudy Fisher's doing a nice job with this team. A lot of them have that move, that running floater. I mean, this team has missed some shots that could have made this a little bit more of a competitive game. They've had some decent looks.
Drayton on the drive and just unable to get it to go. She got there nicely.
Yeah, it was a really good look.
Another pass a little too far out in front for O'Brien as Almonte unable to corral it.
Yeah, again, just a little bit too quick in transition. Both of these teams need to be a little bit crisper as we're under a minute to play.
See these young Titans getting in the work as Works unable to score that off the backboard, but offensive rebound comes back to New Mission. Jumper short that time from the Lady Titans, and here come the Tigers. Tran. Looking inside, nice feed, and the basket is good. That time for Villiers.
Villiers a freshman, but she's one of the taller players on the team. If she can grow a little bit, she might be a nice post presence years forward as they put the press on against Drayton, who's not having any of it. Shot clock turned off. New Mission doesn't want to shoot it.
And that's going to do it here at New Mission High and Hyde Park. They take down the O'Brien Lady Tigers for their 4th win of the season. And Seth, you see the final score, New Mission wins by 23. And you know, in that first quarter, we really thought, I mean, this game was going back and forth. You saw the young players for O'Brien hustling, scoring baskets, but after a while, it just seemed like the experience and the Jashari Green certainly took over this game. But the experience really helped New Mission sort of pull away in that lead.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have one senior in Grace Burns who plays consistently for this O'Brien team, and a lot of 7th and 8th graders who make a lot of an impact. On the other side, this New Mission team's a little bit more battle-tested. They went deeper into the playoffs. They've gone a little bit deeper than O'Brien has the last couple years. They have Jashari Green, who's a junior, Keenu's a senior, and Drayton, even though she didn't play that much, she still made an impact on this game. They have veterans and a couple more than just the one in Burns who have been there before. Also, I think there was a big advantage playing in their home court. I mean, their fans started getting in behind them. O'Brien, they had 2 buses full, but I think they would have been a little bit more comfortable if they had gotten to play within the friendly confines of their own gym.
No question. They probably would have shot a little bit better, especially from the free throw line, so that certainly would have helped a little bit, but certainly a very impressive win for New Mission tonight. They are clearly one of those better teams in the city that we always see from them throughout the last few years. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have our Game of the Week MVP, our final stats before we sign off here from New Mission High School in Hyde Park. Make sure you stick around.
Foster safety. Foster hope. Foster joy. Foster curiosity. Foster support. Become a foster parent, because every parent makes a difference. Foster, Massachusetts.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing. And it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
First time I tried biking, and it was laying around my mom's house. And then I kept taking them whenever I could get them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Do you want to retire like a champ? Just like legendary basketball star Uncle Drew?
Don't do him like that, Uncle Drew!
You're already acing the game. You've got your dream ride.
Don't be slamming my door.
Sorry about that.
You just did the same.
Gotta get the boys. Your dream vacation and your dream team. And now you can make your retirement just as legendary.
I get buckets.
Get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Tilly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Queen is just my everything.
His smile did it. His smile, his eyes, his knowledge. My landlord, he decided that he wanted me to move based on the fact that I was transgender. Let's just respect people in everyday life for just being human.
No doubt you're going places, young lady.
Thank you. And thank you for the interview as well. I can imagine it was the last thing that you wanted to do after such a long campaign meeting.
You really are a very intelligent young woman. You're very smooth.
You're very smooth yourself.
You have no idea.
Welcome back to New Mission High School in Hyde Park. At the conclusion of Game of the Week, the New Mission Titans took down the O'Brien Lady Tigers 70-47. And certainly we've been talking about it all game long, but the best player tonight was clearly Jashari Green. She controlled the pace. She scored the most. She had 11 assists. I mean, really just a great game for her, and it looked easy for her out there. I mean, she looked like she was just kind of floating around. I mean, that's the type of player she is. She's very smooth. Runs up and down the floor with ease. Great game for her this evening.
She's a player who really can dominate the game in every single facet. Obviously, she was really strong on the offensive end, but her length is such a big asset defensively. It's also good rebounding, and she just finds her teammates in good spots. She knows where they're most comfortable. She found a lot of open teammates for really easy jump shots or wide open layups. I mean, she does everything for this team, and the nice thing is there's enough talent around her that they can really make her look even better. Obviously, Kinu was good, but even Gonzalez finished with a double-double. This team has room to grow when they get their second-best player back, but already they're sort of rounding into form after a slow start.
No question, and it certainly helps to have Jashari Green at the point for you in those type of situations. Jashari and Coach Bowie are with our sideline reporter, Noah Riley. So, Noah, take it away.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with New Mission's Jashari Green. Jashari, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists, almost a triple-double. Tell us about your mindset coming into this one.
I just had to be focused for my team, getting the ball, just pushing the ball, finding an open man. I just had to do it for the team.
So this was a big game for you guys, 3 in a row, City League win. What does that mean for you guys going forward?
I mean, we had a couple losses, but we had to keep the momentum and get in good wins because we can't lose that many times in a row. So.
And my last question for you, are you the best player in the city?
I believe so.
That's awesome. You definitely played like it today. Thanks so much, Jashari. Coach, I have a few questions for you, too. That's 3 wins in a row for you guys. Momentum picked up. How are you feeling going forward in the rest of the season?
We feel pretty good. We're starting to pick up a lot of the nuances that we didn't have in the beginning. They're working a little harder. They're not used to the, types of practices that I was going to come in and develop with them in this program. So it's, we're just taking it day by day. Every win we can get, we're grateful for, and I'm grateful for, how hard these kids work. So, that's pretty much it.
Coach, this was a big win, but not just a City League win. This had family ties, bragging rights. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah. So we played against my niece today, and that's someone that, she's with me every day. I feed her, we go everywhere together, on vacations and stuff like that too. So, I mean, it was pretty much me playing against my kid, and it was fun. It was a lot of trash talk leading up to this. I offered her to stay up till 3 a.m. last night if she wanted to. She wanted to stay on Fortnite and play. I offered her 2 tubs of ice cream, some Ben & Jerry's. She refused all of it, so, she takes the game pretty seriously. But, in all seriousness, she did well tonight. She knew the game, what our game plan was coming in, and she fought through the adversity. She's a little emotional right now because that's the type of competitor she is. She just really wants to win all the time, and that's what we preach. Fight hard to win.
So, I mean, you got bragging rights till the next holiday or till the next matchup you guys have, but congrats on the win tonight. That's 3 in a row for you guys. Looking at momentum forward, and good luck on the rest of the year.
Thank you. Thanks. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Coach. Back to you.
Noah, thanks very much, and certainly a nice little rivalry there with some family members. That's always a lot of fun. Let's take a look at the final stats here from New Mission before we sign off from New Mission High in Hyde Park. And first up, it's O'Brien.
Yeah, Guerrero had a really nice day, leading the team in both points and rebounds. Christina Pham, the niece of Vinny Bowie, had 5 assists to lead the team. Grace Burns, not her best day, did finish with 9 points. And then Gainey, who did a little bit of everything today with 6 rebounds and 3 assists.
Let's take a look at New Mission's final stats.
Well, for New Mission, you're going to see a lot of the same names. Jashari Green, 24 points, just off the leaderboard in rebounds and 11 assists. Gonzalez had a nice double-double with 12 and 11. Keanu just missed a double-double of her own with 11 rebounds, and she even had 4 assists. So it was really those big 3 today with Drayton in foul trouble and Surratt out of the lineup who carried the load for this New Mission Titans team. And realistically, Gonzalez and Keanu were a little bit more role players because Jashari Green is just that good. I don't know if she's the best player in the city. I think Fiona Mannion would have something to say about that after putting up 43 versus New Mission. Certainly one of the 5 best, maybe one of the 2 or 3 best, and she's just a junior, so she still has a chance to improve and really take over that mantle of the best player in the Boston City League.
Yeah, I have a pretty good feeling this is probably not the last time we're going to see New Mission this season, so we'll see when Jashari goes up against other teams that maybe have one of those 2 better players in the city as well. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight, folks, here on Game of the Week. You want to watch this game again, you can go to our website, www.cityofboston.gov/game of the week. All the games from this basketball season are up there. The football games from last fall are up there as well. You can also follow us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/game of the week Boston. Links to the games, other videos, a lot of different updates. Make sure you like us there. And you can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. We saw 2 of the better teams in the City League this week. We're going to see one of the best next week over at Latin Academy when they take on Tech Boston. But for right now, we're going to say so long here from Hyde Park at New Mission High. We'll see you next time here on Game of the Week. Take care, everybody.